Hey guys, so I just came back from a 10-day trip here in Europe. I did not go to a lot of places, but it was quite a few. So it's Munich, Salzburg, Hallstatt, Vienna, Prague, and Berlin, and then back to Amsterdam. So I would just like to show you which gear I packed with me, my photography gear. If I'm traveling with friends, especially friends who are not into photography, I would just bring really small sets, so just like what I'm about to show you guys. So yeah. So these are pretty much my equipment that I brought with me. It all will go in this bag. Well, photography equipment. Well, not all the stuff is here though, simply because stuff like extra chargers, even more batteries, and so on and so forth, those stuff will go into the big backpack. But if I'm traveling, like 10-day traveling with my friends who are not really into photography, it's most likely it's gonna be like one of those backpacking kind of things. So I was just trying to stay as small as possible in terms of equipment I bring, because backpacking is like, it's not really convenient if you're bringing a lot of stuff with you. At least it's not convenient for me. So first thing I would bring is, this really depends on people, but like my 5D Mark III and my 16-35. I decided not to bring lenses like my 70-200 or my 24-70 f2.8, which is sitting somewhere else in the room. Simply because those lenses are too heavy, and any zoom lenses that I use quite often would be my 16-35 millimeter lens. So yeah, and 50 1.8 just to have one fast aperture lens with me. I'm not a big fan of 50 millimeter. I'm more of either super wide or going tele, and the other prime lens I have that I use so often is too heavy. It's the 85 1.2 Mark II. So yeah, I will definitely not bring that for a backpack trip, and it's too expensive to bring it along with me if you add the price of that lens with my kit here. So I would also bring my 25 millimeter f1.7 from Lumix, then my 14-42 lens, as well as my Lumix G7. Like, I was just trying to separate between photography camera and video camera, but then it ended up like, okay, I also had to shoot with my iPhone, my GoPro, like, I just brought it just in case. But yeah, my GoPro, pretty much the memory cards, like every single memory cards that I brought for it, all my 64 gigabyte, all my 32 gigabyte, got filled up from the first 3 or 4 days of the trip, which was pretty interesting, simply because I shot a lot of time lapse, that's why. Then I just brought another GoPro battery. I figured I should have brought a lot more, but oh well. These are my other Canon 5D Mark III batteries that I also share with my 5D Mark II and my 70D that I'm recording with right now. And my Gorilla Pod, I definitely have changed the head for it, simply because the head that came with it, it did not use the same quick release plates that I was using. I'm using this from Manfrotto, but other brands like Mantona also makes it. So that was pretty convenient. And the reason why I didn't bring my travel tripod, which is also roughly like the same height, but it's a little bit heavier. So for me, saving that extra maybe 100 or 200 grams would, I would save it. And yeah. But the reason I bring this is pretty much the same reason as that, just to have a light prime lens that would also allow fast aperture. Then I would bring my power bank, simply because I will rely on the map, both hard copy and digital copy, really heavily. So my phone would run out of battery pretty soon. Well, my phones. That's from my Android charger. That's my iOS charger. My backup hard drive. That's the cable for my hard drive. And then here's my like the pouch for my card. My MacBook charger, because then I can always charge my MacBook in the bus. My passport, obviously, because Nowadays in the EU, there's also passport checking because there are just so many immigrants here. My card reader, my tripod, my spare tripod plate, simply because if one of them gets lost, then I can just use this. My timer remote, lens pen, my Canon premium member card. I always bring that with me if anything goes wrong. But then again, if anything goes wrong within the 10-day backpacking trip, I also don't have the luxury to just send it to Canon service, simply because I'm with my friends. So I would have to rely on other cameras like the G7, my iPhone, the GoPro, so on and so forth. My MacBook Pro Retina 15-inch. My plans that I've made, like this is the bus plans, like, and here are places to visit, and more tickets back here, and everything, and more plans. Yeah, and I would usually put in like a big pack of paper in here, A4 paper, just to, you know, for extra notes. But yeah, and this would be the messenger bag that I carry with me. That would be my umbrella. Pretty useful. Honestly, it is pretty useful. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is really important. Pack of tissue. And now that it's summer, I usually carry this nose spray with me because I have allergy. And the reason why I said tissue is pretty important is because it's summer now, and I'm a person who's not a summer person, so I get nosebleed like a lot of times. Like during the 10-day trip, I could be having like 5 times nosebleed a day, and every time I have nosebleed, it will last maybe like from anywhere from 20 minutes to 45 minutes. So yeah, but now I'm gonna show you how I would fit all of these equipment into this bag. Just hold on a second. So now that I have the camera on the tripod, I'll just pretty much start packing the way I would usually pack. So, definitely the GoPro thing goes in here. I forgot to mention that I always bring my housing with me, the GoPro housing, so I can always mount my GoPro on top of my 5D Mark III for maybe if I just want a top angle of what I'm taking pictures of, or just some sort of using like my Mark III as like a tripod, and then just mount this on top of my Mark III, and that's it pretty much. But yeah, my plans will go at the very back slot here. Oh, by the way, I do keep this little booklet where I keep all the receipts in case I am traveling outside the EU, and I can just show them the receipts, like if I'm passing the custom, where I got the product from, and like, or if I were to come back to the EU, if the police were to ask like, well, the customs were to ask like, okay, where did you get your equipment from? I can just say, yeah, I bought it here in Germany, so you don't need to text me or anything. Yeah, because I live here in Europe. So my computer just fits nicely in there. That goes in here. That goes in here, the front pocket. That also goes into the front pocket. So because I rarely will use this lens because it's going to be for that. My primary camera will be my 5D Mark III. It will go underneath the slot back in here. Oh, and in every single section of my bag, I will have, it's buried so deep. Okay, I will have one of these just to get rid of the moisture. But this bag is doing a pretty good job of protecting the rain from getting in anyway. It's not waterproof, but if you're, let's say, in a normal rainy kind of situation and you just have this flap closed like this bag will do an awesome job of protecting the rain. I've taken this bag to so many places. So this is actually my second bag from this particular model. The first one, I just use it way too much. Like I went to Southeast Asia, I threw my bags from like boat to boat when I was traveling between islands, and obviously it survived. So this is also surviving. I mean, I've been using it for the past 2.5 years now, or a bit more maybe. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, that goes there. That goes here. Wait, sorry. I'm just trying to remember how I packed it last time. yeah, that goes there, and then it kind of lifts the lens up. It will definitely not hurt the lens. My passport will definitely go in here. This timer, sometimes I would put it here, but for this one I'll put it here. My card reader will definitely go in one of the dividers here. Oh, by the way, for this section of my bag, we'll sit my wallet, always. So it's always nice to grab it. My hard drive will go in here. My cable from my hard drive will go in here. Right, now I know what I had this slot for. Sorry guys. That still goes in there. This goes into the front divider. This goes back here. All my batteries will be sitting here in the front. My membership card will be there. My lens pen will go in front. My my lens cap will go in front. The gum is pretty nice. Will go in front. Okay. My GoPro will go in here, the very first slot. Little chargers will go underneath my lenses. I most of the time will put this into my bigger backpack actually, because I have the power bank already. I don't need it. But yeah, for this I'll just put it there. And this will go here on the last section because it's my least used camera. I usually have straps on. I don't trust myself without straps. Well, I do, but usually I will need to carry other things like my friend's stuff and everything else. So I need to keep my hands as free as possible. That's why I always use straps. But because I just came back from a 10-day trip and I was using the strap pretty roughly. So like, I don't know, the inner part started ripping a bit, so it looked a bit bad. That's why I took it out. But yeah, that's it. Oh, by the way, I put the Pentax strap on here in case someone's wondering what kind of strap. Because I find for this camera size, the strap that Lumix gave me with this camera was way too big and too uncomfortable for this camera size. So I just looked for a smaller strap, and I have it from Pentax, that's why I put it on here. Yeah, and this usually goes into my backpack and then it rolled up in circle. But if I were to travel with only this bag, it will just kind of clip to the side here. Yeah, and then just use the leg to kind of lock it. But yeah, it's still pretty darn heavy, but it still isn't that obvious that this bag is a camera bag, and I really love this bag so much. I often will keep my water bottle here as well, but yeah, that's just me. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for the video. By the way, this slot here will usually go, like, my quick access document, like the paper stuff, maybe the train schedule. Yep, I have a train schedule from the German train. And little bits of tissue left. Okay, here's a bigger pack. Okay, cool. Yeah, but just like my quick documents where I can just look through pretty quickly. But yeah, that has been my video showing you how I pack my camera bag for my 10-day trip in Europe. Well, part of Europe. Yeah, I hope it was helpful to a certain extent. I mean, this was not a professional trip by any means. That's why the equipment that I brought is just so little, and I don't know, it doesn't cover everything. So I did not even bring my big tripod. I only brought my 5D and 1L lens pretty much for all my photography stuff, as well as that 50mm, but I rarely used it actually. Yeah, it's just for that sake of having a fast aperture lens. But then again, I did not get a chance to use it that much. But when I got home, I figured I already took so much videos from my iPhone, with my iPhone, my 5D Mark III and my G7, that the next time I'm traveling, I will probably leave my G7 home if I'm traveling with friends, because I can just use my iPhone and my 5D Mark III, because it's just a hassle taking the G7 with me when I don't use it as often. But otherwise, it did help saving data in there, because what I figured out with my 5D Mark III is that even though I had 64 gigabyte cards with me and as well as 32 gigs, I just ran out of space, you know, and it's not always possible to back everything up on my Mac, simply because like my Mac is not always with me. So let's say if I'm going to Prague, I will not be carrying my Mac throughout the day. It's gonna kill my shoulder. So I would just leave this maybe in the hotel room. So yeah, in that case, in that sense, having this camera also helps me with saving video files onto this camera, whereas this is just really focused on stills. I only want this camera to really focus on stills, because it still needs a lot of memory for video. It still takes really good videos, out of my opinion. Like, if you know how to sharpen the video and everything, it still does take good videos. I know I did not really do a lot of treatment, or any treatment at all, to the video parts that comes out of these two cameras and my iPhone when I upload the videos from the episodes, like my travel diary, photo points 24. It's still shaky, but I'm still trying to improve, people. I'm sorry. And if it was a professional trip, then I would bring my microphone, whether it's my lavalier mic wireless kit or my shotgun mic. I'll just bring it. But if it's just backpack trip, I'm sorry, I will not bring my microphone with me. It's just too much, and my friend will probably get annoyed with me for having too much equipment, as sometimes my friend did get annoyed with me. But oh well. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you found it useful to a certain extent. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.